Hi, I'm Linda Eastburn, and this is Intuitive Journeys. I'm training a team of intuitive remote viewers, and we are on the hunt. We're stealth detectives using only the power of our minds to get real-life answers. Everyone's been asking about participating in the show, doing the remote viewing along with us. So we've created a special segment just for you so you can play along. We're going to start with the simple image and let you also draw the image, describe it, and later in the show, we will give you the heads up as to what the picture really is. So play along with this one. We're going to start the show with it. So good luck. I'd like you to get out a new piece of paper and put today's date, put your name on it, and I'm going to give you a new envelope. The envelope has an image in it, and I just want you to describe it with the words and then draw an image of it. You don't have to do a summary with it yet because we're just learning how to do this. So good luck. A little later in the show, we will reveal what that image is, so keep working on it. It's what I'm calling breakfast today. Some nice homemade biscuits with orange marmalade and melted butter. Yum, yum, yum. I can't wait to eat this. Should be delicious. Okay, so this is 1617. It is a location that we can travel to and identify, and I just want you to get all the elements that you can. It's outside. It's an outside element. It is not an inside business. So it's outside. Just describe all of the criteria and draw anything that would identify if we're in that location. Been working on target number 1617. It's a location. We can prove when we go to it if we were actually remote viewing this or not. Mary, let's start with you.
First thing I heard was cement blocks, and I believe that there's a water feature there.
So water feature, concrete blocks. Dylan, what did you find?
I think it's a natural environment like a trail or a floral garden. And I feel like it's quiet. And I felt like it was Southtown, like 4,000 block of South.
And any features of the actual location? Any like structures or anything like that?
I feel concrete. You know, I feel like nature and everything.
Okay, so more concrete, some nature also present.
Fairly quiet.
Okay.
I'm seeing a concrete sign that is the entrance to the park with flowers, trees in the background, and water off to the side as you come in.
Okay.
So
all three of you got something concrete. Mm-hmm. Two of you got something with a water element. Okay, Mark, what did you draw?
I drew a bridge. I'm thinking it's an old bridge somewhere. Colors are gray, maybe green.
Okay. Did you get anything in the water or water element there?
No, it's just pretty much a bridge. Yeah, there's water there.
There's water there.
Just regular stream.
It's a little bridge, there's the water underneath, there's the definite pillars, because it's a maze there, if you've ever been through those little koi ponds. It's open, it's not really in the restaurant. It's just, it was the koi ponds is what we were going for. So definitely concrete, definitely some water elements. It is a bridge, but it's a small little walking bridge, not a huge, driving bridge. So. And lots of water elements we got today, but nothing that said small koi pond.
Right.
Did anyone get color in this or any kind of definition that would help us with that? Or
I was in the pinks and oranges on the flowers.
I don't know if there are flowers there or not. I really don't know.
I don't know. I mean, koi kind of have some orange.
Well, they do have some orange, yeah, for sure.
I am curious what the address there is.
4117 South National Avenue. And what number did you get?
4267.
Pretty close. One of the most fun things in the show is to go look at a place after we have remote viewed it. So we're off to take a look at one of our remote viewing sessions and see how the students respond. Did they get any of it right? We'll find out.
I saw the bridge in the water, but it was a larger bridge.
Many of us here in the U.S. have ancestors that fought in the Civil War. And for many, it's very important for them to know the final resting place of an ancestor. So a woman contacted us looking for her great-great-great-grandfather's gravesite. Joshua Charles is his name. She'd gone to great effort to find his resting place. She saw his obituary, which told her that he was buried in a national cemetery. But upon looking in that national cemetery, she could find no record whatsoever of Joshua Charles being actually buried there. There was no gravesite. But there was a gravesite for a man with the last name of Charles. His name was Ephraim Charles. And that was the only gravesite marked for a Charles. So she asked us to take a look at this. So we sent our remote viewers on track of if Joshua Charles might possibly be the same as Ephraim Charles, because she really didn't have his middle name or any records, and she could find nothing whatsoever on Ephraim Charles as a soldier of the Civil War, even though he was supposed to be a soldier in the Civil War. This is an unusual case. It is 5874, if you want to go ahead and get the numbers down and look at it. This is a woman who has an ancestor buried in a Confederate cemetery. We have all of this information here, which I'm just going to pass out. These are obituaries and death notices and all kinds of things that show his death. His name was Joshua Charles, and he is shown to be buried through different documentation at a certain Confederate cemetery. But upon going to the cemetery, the person, or there's only one person with the last name Charles there, and it's that Ephraim Charles. You see that name on there, Ephraim? Is that what it is? Ephraim Charles? Ephraim Charles? Okay. There is a stone there with an Ephraim Charles on it. When she starts researching him, there's no record of him anywhere. So she doesn't know if these are one and the same person. Why would the name have been changed if it is so? Does Joshua Charles maybe just not have a stone at the cemetery? You know, and this guy is whomever, but he's in the Confederate section of the cemetery, so he would have had to have been a Confederate soldier, but yet there's no record of him. And they did a really good job with the records of Confederate soldiers. And they did a really good job of the cemetery as far as keeping records. However, if there was no stone, you know, that may not have been recorded or something like that. Okay, we've been looking for this person, the grave site, all the information around it. Mindy, why don't we start with you?
Okay. So I got that Joshua Charles and Ephraim Charles were two separate people.
She doesn't know how to find out if Ephraim and Joshua were the same person?
I don't think even remotely.
But they weren't, and
No.
you got that. And so no, across the board, we're all seeing these were two different people. So where is Joshua buried? We have no history on Ephraim, and we don't know where, since all of the obituaries say he was buried there, Joshua was buried there. There's no gravesite. So is he buried at that place and just doesn't have a stone? Or what? He's not buried there.
No.
You don't think he's buried there?
No.
Before heading out to the cemetery to see if we could discover anything about Joshua Charles and Ephraim Charles's gravesites, I decided to sit down and just do a session myself, see what I could see. So here it is. We've seen that the confusion that seems to be present is not necessarily the truth about whether or not these two are the same individual, because we do not see them to be, but we do see some kind of a mix-up, some kind of a confusion that has happened within the paperwork of the results of what is appearing to be the gravesite of Ephraim Charles. We do not see that person to be totally as presented at this time, and we see that there is much information that would need to be retrieved in order to understand why. We're seeing that Joshua Charles is somewhere, what I'm perceiving to be somewhere within the area, probably, but we do not see him to potentially have perhaps an adequate marker, and so we do not see it to be identified very closely. But certainly we do not see them to be the same person, and we see some type of a confusion or a mistake that seems to be made regarding the issue of Ephraim Charles. We shall find out more when we go to the gravesite and actually take a look. A few of us made our way to the National Cemetery to see what we could find for ourselves. We stopped by the office just to see what they could tell us about both Joshua Charles and Ephraim Charles, both. Yeah, I see that. It looks like this map should get us there. We'll go down and take a look at it. You know, when I was in there, he said he was going to look up the grave itself, this person, get a little bit more information for us. So we'll stop back by on our way out and talk with him.
It looks like we're still searching for Joshua's grave.
I'm going to stop by the office, guys. They're looking at both of these grave sites, both Joshua Charles as well as Ephraim Charles. They thought they would probably have some records in the books. They weren't in the computer, but they're probably in the books because the grave is so old. So I'll meet you up there, okay? Okay. What the office was able to identify for us is that the confusion I saw was really with the name on the stone of Ephraim Charles. Ephraim Charles and Joshua Charles could not be the same person, as was seen by the remote viewing team, and as was seen by me in the personal session I did for this gravesite, because Ephraim Charles wasn't really named Ephraim Charles. It was Charles Ephraim. But the confusion was when the new stone was put up, they put it down as Ephraim being his first name and Charles being his last name. So we got that resolved. We have an entirely new type of target right now. We are adding to the mix a person. So we're asking our remote viewers to identify what they look like, draw a picture of them if they can, and tell us all about their personality, their profession, perhaps why they were well known as a person, and we'll see what they can get. Now we have target number 3475. This is a little bit different than anything we've done before. This is a person, and I want you to describe what they look like, And then I want you to describe kind of what they did with their life, their achievements in life, because it's a well-known person. Okay, so I'll just let you go for that. We've been working on number 3475. This is a person. I asked for you to give me a physical description and also an idea of who this person was, what their accomplishments were, so we can identify who it is. David, what did you find?
Well, it's a male man, and he's kind of tall and thinnish. Likes to wear dark suits, dark brown hair. With age, it grays. And I just got he's a good speaker.
A speaker? Okay. What too?
So I have a man. He had a mustache. He had a lot of hair, and he would run his hair through his hands, or his hands through his hair rather, when he would think. He's a mathematician. He was brilliant, but he was also creative, a scientist and a writer. He was a substantial person. I wrote that he was hungry. I don't know why, but he's hungry, and that he wore a hat and suit as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
Very interesting.
At the very end, I put a bow tie because I don't know why.
Just had a bow tie.
I could see like a shock of hair off to one side. It seemed like it was blonde at first, but then as I felt along, it seemed like they were older than blonde, maybe even somebody like, you know, Mark Twain, Charlie Chaplin, Winston Churchill, somebody in that era along those lines, you know. And if not, there was the Queen, because everything's about the Queen these days.
What did they do? What were they known for?
I could see them in like suspenders and like wool kind of pants, but I felt like they were either, you know, an actor or performer, or they were, I don't know, it's weird. I see like the guys walking on top of the skyscrapers in New York kind of guys, you know, but none of them are like really famous. But I had a feeling this person was worldly known.
Okay. And Tiffany?
I was thinking Abraham Lincoln not necessarily him, but a known nobleman that that was like him. And when you said actor, that kind of made me think like maybe it was someone who portrayed him at some point or something like that, possibly.
And so his physical characteristics looked somewhat like
The
Abraham
beard
Lincoln?
and yeah, a very stoic presence.
Okay. And you think maybe an actor?
Possibly, because it was like not.
I see a big mustache.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big mustache. Did you write that down?
A sketch.
Yeah. That looks like that artist.
I had to cover my drawing here.
Okay. Okay. We've been doing 3, 4, 7, 5 of a person. So Mary, what have you got? Cats.
I got a speaker
Okay.
that drew crowds. They had anticipation, interest, curiosity, Nobel Prize winner, Einstein.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't have to open this up. I know who it is. It is Einstein.
Oh!
Yeah, the person in the envelope is Albert Einstein. So
No, it is not.
it is.
Holy
It
cow.
is. It's Albert Einstein.
To know yourself is to own yourself. And I think the two go hand in hand together. The deeper you go into universal mind and the more you begin to communicate with those deeper levels of yourself, the more you are able to actually manifest your world in kind of a flow. But to do that, you have to learn to walk between two worlds. The world of the physical, and most of us are there, very present, very aware, most of our waking time. But also those people who explore those inner worlds, the inner world of spirit, the inner world of dimensional levels. For those who are willing to go into deep spiritual places and learn about universal mind, they have access to two worlds. And at that point, many things start to happen. Mostly what I see happening is the ability to manifest life the way you desire. In order to really create purpose, you have to know your passion. And passion is one of those things which will propel you into a greater life. a life that you want, a life that doesn't have to be about money and luxury and fine things. It doesn't have to be about that. It's a life that fits you. It's a life that you desire. It's a life that gives you a sense of purpose and fulfillment. And that's really the goal in being able to create higher consciousness in union with who you are. Something I call the silver platter of opportunity begins to come into your life when you are kind of in that flow of universal mind, because you begin to be in the right place, the right time. But more than that, you begin to have what I call the right attitude, because you have to be able to perceive those opportunities and then act upon them for them to really be meaningful in your world. That's something that I teach. It's something that I live my life by. It is something that I understand when I'm in that flow and when I'm not, because it's just rote living otherwise. And when you're in that spiritual flow and that flow of universal mind, you begin to see those things in your world that really are beneficial, and you begin to know yourself. At that point, you begin to own yourself, and you walk together with those inner desires and passions along with the universal mind of knowledge and knowing timing and place and how to move forward. Oftentimes, when I give remote viewers the challenge of looking for a hidden object, the problem really is they don't get enough specific information to direct the owner of the object to get to it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And I understand those details are sometimes difficult and challenging to retrieve. Such was the case in this episode, where the target is a hidden item that I've put away somewhere, so I know where it is. But Mary and Drew are trying to locate it, trying to find it, and trying to direct me to be able to go directly to it. Let's watch. I want you to write down 7817 as your target number. This time, it's a lot different than just drawing an image of a picture inside of the envelope. This time it's an item that I've hidden. Now, you do not need to tell me what the item is, because I already know what the item is. But if I were looking for this item, you need to tell me what room of the house it's in and how I could find it. Now, like, is it high up in the air? Is it low to the ground? Is it mid-ground? Is it near something? Tell me what it might be close to, within, on, whatever. Get colors, get textures, get every description that you can that would take me to the item in this 7817 target, okay? So that's the task at hand. It's a little different than the other image. It's not that much different though, because you're really drawing a space where this object exists, okay? Is that clear?
So use words also?
You can still use the words and draw space, whatever works for you, okay?
Okay, it's in the kitchen. Yeah, that's a crappy drawing of a kitchen, but anyway, refrigerator, stove. Okay, it's on medium height.
Okay.
And it is, I don't need to tell you what it is, because you know what it is.
I know what it is. I just need to know how to find it. If we were going to hunt for something for another individual, this one I do know because I hid it. So we just need to know how to get me to it. Okay, so Mary, what did you find?
Okay. What I was picking up was shiny elements, round shapes, water, soft, curtains, a rug, some dark wood, white and silver. Where I settled was the bathroom.
Okay, so you thought it was in the bathroom, you thought it was, we got a kitchen and a bathroom, and you got it near some hard surfaces and kind of shiny and light color?
Actually, I have it close to the toilet paper.
Okay.
Or maybe even within the little round part of the toilet paper.
Okay.
Yeah. But there was a shiny, like a metallic ring close by.
Okay. And you got it in the kitchen near what? In a cabinet?
It's medium height, so it's on the counter. On the counter on the other side of the refrigerator.
The object is this tiny green frog. and I placed it inside this wooden box, and it's on top of a chest that's in my family room. Unfortunately, I don't think I could have found the frog from Mary and Drew's description of where they felt like it was. It certainly wasn't in the bathroom, nor was it in the kitchen. It was in the family room, and I'm sorry, but I don't think there was much of a hit here on this one. I was contacted by a client looking for two precious necklaces that she has misplaced or lost somehow. The necklaces, one of them had a diamond in it, so that belonged to her mother, and it was just real important to her not to lose these. She moved about 5 years ago, and since that move, she has not been able to locate them. So I put this in front of our intuitive remote viewers to see if they could find the actual necklaces. If they're in her home, we're going to try to find them for her. Okay, we have case number 2239. Our target is two missing necklaces that a woman has misplaced, probably when she moved. It's probably there somewhere, she suspects, but we need to be able to get her to those necklaces wherever they may be in her house. You might need to get a location she can just go straight to and find them. So have at it. We've been looking for the necklaces. So Sid, why don't we start with you? Where do you see them to be?
I think they're in a storage area within the home. Maybe some boxes that she's went through and decided to just kind of continue to store them. It's like either in a closet or a unused room. But definitely within the residence. I feel like there's a stack of boxes, and this particular box is at the bottom because it's heavy. It might be filled with something like books or things like that, but it's the jewelry, the necklaces, I feel like are in a box within a box.
Okay. Okay. Anything else?
Let's see here. The box been gone through quickly, unpacked, and then restored in a room, closet, or garage, not used regularly. Look on the floor. Okay, I think that's pretty much.
Okay. Okay, Mark.
I think it's in an article of clothing, like a jacket, but I'm thinking it could be somebody else's jacket that somebody removed it from the property during the move, like it was stolen. That's what I'm getting.
Okay, and David?
Okay, first off, just to kind of help me see what it is, maybe if I got the right one or not. Is this turquoise jewelry?
Actually, there's some diamonds in it. There's a diamond cross necklace, and then there's a diamond from her mother's wedding band that they took out of the wedding band and turned it into a necklace.
A necklace, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I kept looking at diamond, but anyway, okay, so I'm seeing it in a cloth bag in the hall, in a drawer, a hall table in a drawer.
Okay. I saw some elements of various things that you've seen. I didn't see it stolen, but I saw it if she were at her front door, and I haven't talked to her, so we haven't found this yet. This is all unknown to all of us at this point as to where it is. But I saw if she was at her front door looking directly to the back side of her house, that it was in a room to the far right, and there's 3 rooms there, maybe a bedroom, a bath, and a utility room, and maybe a hall closet even. And it was in a closet in that vicinity of the house. Mark, what did you get?
I think they are in like either a jewelry box or a jewelry armoire that's in a closet. And they have dropped, they're either at the back of the armoire, they've dropped in the back of the closet into clothes, maybe shoes is where they actually are. They're heavy, so they'd work their way down, or they're in the jewelry storage, but it's such a mess she can't find them in there, and she needs to take every piece out, and they'll be in there.
Okay.
I felt like she had, when she was moving, stuck them in a box that maybe had files in it, like either a file cabinet or just a cardboard box that had files in it, and it's in a closet somewhere that just says files, and she hasn't looked at it because she thinks it's old files, but she like put it in there and then they drop to the bottom.
Both of you see it.
Yeah,
dropping
see
down.
something drop to the bottom. So she's maybe looked in this carton a bunch of times, but doesn't see it because it's dropped all the way to the bottom.
Okay.
But it's something that's labeled. It doesn't say jewelry.
Right. So it wouldn't be obvious.
Yes, old files or old photos or something like that.
Gotcha. Okay. Dylan, what did you see?
I think someone else has them, and they know where they're at. They're in a jewelry box, but it's because somebody took them and has them. Somebody who's actually participated in helping her look for them has them.
Okay.
Probably
And they
a
know they have
relative, and they know
Okay.
they have them.
Okay.
They took them a long time ago, maybe even. It's either a woman in like late 30s, early 40s, up to mid 50s. Somewhere I get two images. Maybe it's a mother and a daughter. I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm seeing two women. But someone else has it. It's not in the house. I mentally looked all over that house and I didn't.
Couldn't see them. Couldn't
No.
find them.
And I immediately felt them in someone else's hand.
Okay. Very well. Well, all we can do is pass all this information along to her, and I will let you know just as soon as I get all of the information to her and see if she can locate them. In my remote viewing session, I looked at the house where she lives now, and as I went in the front door, I could see the very back part of the house. There was a room back there off of a hallway that was probably a bedroom or an office, I wasn't sure. And in that room, I saw a metal, gray, heavy-like type of container that the necklaces, I believed, were in at this time. When Mindy remote viewed the necklaces, she also saw them in a file cabinet. She didn't get the location in the house, but she did see them in that type of a box, and she also saw that they have dropped down into maybe a file or something, maybe inside of an envelope or something, and I saw that as well. I called the woman and asked her to describe the floor plan of her house, and especially asked her the rooms on the back side to the right. And sure enough, there was an office there, and there was a file cabinet within that room, and the file cabinet happened to be a dark gray color. Now, just below that is a storage area in her basement. And also within that area are several file cabinets, and they're all heavy, they're all metal, and they're all gray. So it could have been maybe inside any one of these. So we called her, gave her all the information, and she's still looking for them. We'll let you know as soon as she finds them. A man called a few days ago wanting me to do a personal intuitive session for him. He was feeling this sort of inner need to move, but wanted me to take a look and see what I could see from the universal mind perspective as to what was best for him. Now, of course, I'm able to go in and access this person and their kind of lifespan, and be able to see some of these things from universal mind, and that's what I do as an intuitive. I love also teaching people to be able to go in and do this for themselves. That's really what I love to do, is to give people that ability to be able to go inward and to see their own future. But I'm also happy to offer this service to him. So he gave me permission to do the session and to use it on the show. So I'm going to do that session for him now.
We're seeing in the wake of the impressions that this man is having of his need to move, that he is indeed frustrated and somewhat dissatisfied with the location in which that he is in at this time. We see that he's seeking a higher sense of community and a higher sense of desire to have a union that would be beneficial to him. We see that he wants a personal union with another person to share his life with, but he also is seeking a union as far as what community goes that will help him to grow and expand and become a higher sense of awareness indeed. We're seeing that that move is possible, but we're not seeing it to be right away. We see it probably a year or so down the road that he will begin to make progress in finding the location that would be best suitable for him. We see that he will have to move some distance, however, from where he is at this time to make that a permanent location. We see that the location that he's wanting is most likely to be found in a slightly more remote area, a place that seems to have a smaller community of individuals overall, population slightly smaller, something that has a lot of nature invested in it, something that seems to be north in the United States, something perhaps in the vicinity of Wyoming, perhaps even northern Colorado, maybe even up in Montana. We do see that those areas seem to have the more like-mindedness to his, as he is very prone to be respectful of nature. And we see that he does, of course, benefit from what we see as a mountainous area. We see that there is also more of a draw for like-minded people for him to form community with. And there are several communities within that. Cheyenne, Wyoming seems to be the location in which that he will progressively move to and will find the most benefit from. So we do see that since that download just happened in specifically addressing a location, we see that in or near that vicinity would be best, where we do see that there could be a potential relationship form with an individual as well as a community that he could thrive with and benefit from, and also offer much benefit to. We see that he wishes to be with a community that will also enhance his deeper love of environmental issues, ones that respect nature, ones that respect the individual desire to protect and also to love the benefits in which that a natural setting will enhance him to have. We do see that the large city in which that he resides in now does not tend to have much to offer to him, and he does often have to go on retreats or vacations in order to achieve that kind of union with nature that he so much desires. We specifically encourage him to begin to make plans for some type of an exit. We do see that he does need to be solid financially and does need to have some kind of a base in which that he's going to move to. Therefore, he will be able to transition over this next year's span of time to be able to acquaint himself with something that would be more meaningful to him, would offer his higher self more of a sense of consoling and nurturing. And we do see that also, we see that there would be much benefit to him in this progress. We do see that his inner self has been communicating this to him for some time, and we see that it has progressed to a fairly high degree because he has not taken action upon this. But we do see at this time his soul can unite with that need and that desire and feel comfortable with that progress. We wish him well in that, and I hope that it all goes smoothly for him. Wow, we have so many successful hits this time. I'm really proud of our remote viewers. Let me run through them very quickly. Now, the place that everyone was remote viewing, that was amazing. If we look at Mark McGarry's drawing, even though he saw it as a much larger bridge, when we got to the place, and if you compare the image he drew with the actual bridge that is there at the koi pond, they look remarkably alike. So we're going to give him a hit on this one for sure. Next, we have Mary and Tiffany. They both got water elements at this site. They both got the concrete at this site. So that also is fairly good hit. Not exact, but fairly good hit. Dylan got the block number
not exact, but very, very close to the address of this location. So we're really proud of all of them on the koi pond, Mark McGarry being the closest, then Dylan being right there with him. Very close, very high hit. And Mary and Tiffany, a little bit of the element that is at that site as well. Also, the person that we viewed this week, unknown to any of them, including me, Jeremy drew a really, really good picture of Einstein, and she described him to a T. And she said even in her mind, she knew that this was Einstein. Now, Mary, even though her picture isn't quite as good as Jeremy's of Einstein, she still got the uniqueness of the hair, and she called him. She said, this is Einstein. So the two of them are just really, really neck to neck in a top hit here in being able to identify the person we were drawing, Einstein, hair and all. Now, Mindy got the same file cabinet type of box, a heavy metal gray container that I got. She didn't see the floor plan like I saw, but she did get that it was down in that file cabinet. We have yet to know if the necklaces are really there, but I feel fairly confident the necklaces are close by there. And of course, straight across the board, every single person got that Ephraim Charles and Joshua Charles were not the same person. Even though Ephraim had a gravesite there, everybody said, no, this is not Joshua Charles. So we were all accurate on that one. Well, finally, we are ready to reveal the image that we've asked the audience, you, to participate in. We're getting ready to open that up and let you see how well you did. So get out your drawing for target number 3387 if you played along. We're going to compare your drawing to what both Drew and Mary drew on their remote viewing session. Let's go over kind of what your image is.
Okay, my image is, it is a tree that blooms. So we've got what you've got here.
So it's a blooming tree. Do you have any colors that are associated with it? Or no?
I do have brown. And also yellow and beige.
And my drawing was like a battleship.
Okay.
You know, it would be, it had the senses of a battleship.
It had those elements about it, yeah.
That color, that texture, artificial, that sort of thing.
Now we get to take a look at the actual picture. So how did you do? We want to know. We want to hear how well you are remote viewing at home. So please send us your feedback. Join us next time when Mark McGarry names a location he has remote viewed by name. He is spot on exact. If you like the show, please like, share, and subscribe. We're going for 1,000 subscribers, and we're getting there. We're ticking upward. So please subscribe. We really appreciate you as an audience.